Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the show. This is Reservations, and we are your hosts. My name is Jeremy Blair.
And I'm Raine.
So before we get started with the episode, we have a couple of things we want to take care of. One that completely blew my mind this week.
Yeah, we can thank my mother for this. She shared it to me. I, of course, shared it to Jeremy, and now we are both like...
And I think it's gaining traction because our buddy Robert Gonzalez, shout out to Robert Gonzalez, he doesn't listen. He had posted something about it today, and so it's gaining traction. So like, it's been a thing people have been saying wrong since the movie came out.
Yes.
So for 28 years, almost 30 years.
And I'm 90% certain in the episode we both quoted it.
And so here's what's super okay. So if you guys are watching, I'm gonna ask Raine to just go ahead and throw up the poster up here. So when we did our Tombstone episode,
yes,
we discussed Doc Holliday's phrase, "I'll be your huckleberry." That is not what he says. He says, "I'll be your hucklebearer."
Yes,
which is, wrong. Which is I've been saying it.
Yeah, I don't want to give any credit to TikTok, but this is because of TikTok. I know this.
Yeah.
My mom sent me this TikTok of this guy saying how
I have it written if you'd like to.
Oh no, I remember.
Oh, do you remember? Okay.
I just
didn't want to miss, what I mean?
Because when I showed it to Ashley, in apparently the olden times, 1800s, the side of a coffin was called a huckle.
Yeah, the handle.
A handle, and so when you were a huckle, when you were the person, what the phrase now is pallbearer, you were a hucklebearer. So Val Kilmer is actually saying, "I'll be your hucklebearer,"
which is insane. So as soon as you sent me that TikTok, I immediately went to YouTube and I found those scenes and I held it up against my ear and you were super loud, right? And I go, "God damn it, he's saying hucklebearer."
And I think the reason why forever we've always thought it's huckleberry is because
I have no context for hucklebearer.
That, and I attribute to Val's afflection with that southern accent.
Oh, maybe.
It sounds like he's saying huckleberry.
With an accent.
Correct.
Right? Yeah, I get that.
I feel like if he had just spoken normally, we would always hear hucklebearer.
Yeah, and then wonder what that was, right?
Right.
So here's what's so funny about this.
Okay.
Is that in IMDb trivia, they talk about why he says huckleberry, and they give it
an actual reason.
Yeah.
Huh.
I remember talking about it on the episode. I was sitting right over there.
That's when we had it flip-flop.
Yeah, and I remember saying something about the reason why I said, and so it's almost like, here's another good example of how people do this. So this is gonna let's take you back.
Okay.
To like 2016 or whatever this was, when
we're gonna get to the episode. Hang on.
When Jared Leto had posted his first image of him as the Joker, right? He had all these tattoos, right?
Right.
And a lot of people were like, "Oh, maybe it's because
it's like the 50th anniversary,
and that's why he's wearing the tattoos." And then some people got really into it. It's like, "No, here's why." And then like his teeth are, like that because Batman busting them out so many times or whatever.
Yeah, I remember reading a lot about that. Like the damage tattoo is like meant to be for Batman because it's like you damaged me.
And it's people making sense of what they're seeing, and in this case, what they're hearing.
Right.
Right. It's like he has to be saying huckleberry because I don't know what else he's saying.
Yeah.
Right. And then they're probably attributing it to Huckleberry Finn and Mark
Here's
Twain.
What's wild. When I watched Tombstone for the episode, I watched it with subtitles on because I watch all my movies with subtitles on.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm 90% certain the subtitles say Huckleberry.
Unbelievable. Well, we've all been saying it wrong for almost 30 years.
Yes. And so Jeremy and I wanted to kind of not really pretty much retract that. Hey, we even got it wrong. As we've started this season with pretty much saying, hey, we've been wrong.
A bunch of times.
Yeah.
So when I was telling my, one of our part-timers at work, I was telling her that I'm so stupid because I didn't know. Well, I was telling her about the Chester joke that I told last week, that people seem to have enjoyed. I'm being facetious. But I thought it was funny, and so I'm going to stand by it. But anyway, so I was trying to get to that joke, but first I had to explain why I was saying all this stuff, and so I said, did you know Spain and France are
border countries?
She goes, yeah, you could say that they French kiss. And that made me laugh. So, shout out to Callista, good joke. I like that. So that's a Spain and France French kiss. They are up against each other. So
Yes.
I will never forget that until the day I die.
Just a few more things before we get into the episode. One, we finally have our season 6 logo.
Yes.
And I'm going to use the one that Alex made just for us.
Oh, fun.
Because it'll fit in the
Oh,
poster.
yeah, because it'll fit in there.
Just like we did with season 5, we're not going to tell you what it is. We want you guys to tell us what it is, because we know what it is.
Well, of course, and a lot of people will too. It's a very popular movie.
Yeah,
So.
except for my father.
Oh, you didn't know?
He thought we were married.
Well, I mean, your wedding ring was prominently placed on my shoulder.
That's exactly, that it's the left hand on the right hand
Right.
in the original poster. So
I think Haley and I might recreate this when we get married. And she's gonna, and she'll put her. It'll be prominently placed.
y'all should do that for engagement photos.
Well, we're doing. She wants to do like really awkward JCPenney like headshots or
That's
whatever that's
funny.
called, like glamour shots. Yeah, that's what she wants.
Anyway.
So yeah, let us know. Obviously,
and just like we did with season 5, we'll shout you out. Which
Yeah, we'll shout
it'll
you out.
probably be
So-
Zach again.
yeah, I'll probably be Zach again. Almost guaranteed, it always is.
The second thing, it's funny you brought up Jared Leto, because we both also just saw the Suicide Squad.
Suicide Squad.
The Suicide Squad.
Suicide Squad.
Not Suicide Squad. It was great.
It was fun. I really enjoyed it. Dad called me. He hated it. He absolutely
My
hated it.
mother-in-law also told us that she liked the first one more, and I was like,
So did Dad. Dad
it's
said,
like, what?
I said, but this one's more fun. He goes, yeah, but the other one was a movie. This one just seemed like, and I think it's because he's so used to building things up, being introduced to the concept, being introduced to the characters. But in this one, we just jump right in.
Yeah, James Gunn gives you no time to breathe. He's just like, nope, we're going.
Yeah, and you'll figure it out. You know what I mean? So many people saw the first one. It's like you probably saw the first one.
No offense to David Ayer, but sorry. Even he said that like he can't wait to see this.
Yeah.
So
And it was rad. It was super violent.
Great. Go see it in theaters or not. I mean,
I didn't. I saw it on HBO.
I've already given my 2 cents on the whole direct to streaming shit, and I'm not gonna get on my soapbox again. And then lastly, a bit of sad news. If it hasn't been very prominent, which I don't think we've actually talked about, you and I are big fans of The Whitest Kids You Know.
We are huge fans of The Whitest Kids.
I don't think I've ever seen comedy like that.
It's just
The Grapist will forever be the best skit of theirs. Most of you out there will probably know how Abraham Lincoln really died.
Right, that
That's
Abraham
how
Lincoln
I
sketch,
was
yeah.
introduced to them.
me as myself.
And then I was like, okay, who are these guys?
Yeah,
and
this is super funny,
You
yeah.
fall down that rabbit hole.
Yeah.
But one of the co-creators, Trevor Moore, it was today, wasn't it?
It was Friday.
Well, he recently passed away.
Yeah, which sucks, man. He was so funny. And
Yeah, Trevor, yeah.
and I was kind of hoping that they would like revive the show and like, you know what I mean? Because they would do stuff on YouTube. They would do live streams of them playing like RPGs
No, it's awesome.
and getting like super into it. And then they would have videos where they would just talk about one sketch and like how it came to be and like what was it like to film it and all that stuff.
That's awesome. Yeah.
It was tons of fun. And so check those out. They're on their YouTube channel.
Yeah. And also watch the movie that he co-wrote, Miss March.
Yeah, Miss March is hilarious.
Miss March is hysterical.
Yeah.
Him and the other guy from The Whitest Kids You Know. Zach.
Something.
Even though it's all about Zach's character, Trevor he's the best in it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so sad to see such a great comedian
I know.
go at a pretty young age.
Lost a lot of celebrities this month and a half.
Yeah, we thought 2020 was awful. 2021 has already taken so many good people.
Dusty Hill, Joey Jordison, Trevor Moore. I mean, just like it's yikes.
Yeah. Well, so now to get on to other depressing things, the episode. if you didn't watch or listen last week, today we were discussing the 2007 Wes Anderson film, The Darjeeling Limited. Also, if you missed, then you will know that I am a big fan of Wes. Jeremy is not.
No.
I thought in season 4 when we did Grand Budapest Hotel, and you told me you didn't like it. I was like, all right, I'm giving up. He's not. If Grand Budapest couldn't do it, none of his films are going to do it. So I'm just going to give up. And then my wife and I watched this one recently because I bought it on the Criterion collection because I wanted all of Wes's movies on Criterion, which I'm slowly getting there.
You're close.
And I was like, okay, you know what? We haven't watched this one. The French Dispatch, which is Wes's newest film, isn't out yet. I was like, let's just watch this one. And we both loved it, and both of us agreed, this is the one. So before we get into the movie, what did you think?
Okay. I will say, I hated this one the least.
Oh, fuck.
Out of all of them, this is the one I hated the least. I liked a lot of things about it. There's still just stupid Wes Anderson bullshit in it that I just don't understand. I really liked the quick dialogue between the three brothers. That was fun, especially when they were comparing and sharing their prescriptions with one another, and they all had tranquilizer in it.
And they're all passing them around like, oh yeah.
That made me laugh. I did like that, and I even told Haley, I was like, oh shit. She goes, what? I go, I don't hate this yet, you know. But then. One of the main things that just drove me insane.
Oh man!
Because it made no sense.
I think I know.
Jack's not wearing shoes.
Oh yeah,
and I hate it because it's not. He's not like stumbling over stuff. He's not like getting hurt, like his feet. Like he's not every once in a while going, "Ow, shit," or anything like that. That it's just stupid Wes Anderson bullshit.
I meant to look that up because when Ashley and I first watched this, I was like, huh. Like, have you noticed he's not wearing shoes?
Well, he wasn't wearing shoes in the short film. That is the hotel, whatever.
Hotel. I just watched a video where they pronounce it correctly. It's like Chevrolet or. We'll just say hotel.
But
Hotel C.
He's in a hotel room, and I thought that he was just like he got dressed really fast and didn't put shoes on. You know what I mean?
Maybe, yeah.
Because he's just going to stay in the hotel room, and he's not going to be wearing clothes that long anyway, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm like, okay, that's why. But then in the movie, he's not wearing shoes either.
Yeah.
It never does.
I like I said, I meant to look it up because I also was
I don't know why it bothered me so much. But it's because it never comes into play, right? Mm-hmm. Now, in regular comedy, I kind of like it. There's this great scripted game show called Bunk that used to be on IFC. And the host, Kurt Brungle, does not wear shoes. He wears a 3-piece suit, but he's barefoot. Right?
Okay.
And they don't mention it, and I thought that was funny, right?
Uh-huh.
This, however, is different.
Do you think it bothered you because they're traveling throughout India?
Yes.
And actually like walking around and
yeah. I think that's what bothered me the most about it, and I think it's because I get the feeling that the implication is look how quirky he is not wearing shoes, and I think that's what I don't like about it.
Maybe I kind of attribute it to I don't know. I really don't have an answer.
And I'll tell you the one thing I absolutely loved.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
And the movie should have ended right there.
Okay.
Is the montage of train cars, and it's people in different places, right? I loved that. I thought that was brilliant. And then the movie kept going. And I go, no.
So what you're saying is you were the producer guy in the pitch meeting for Return of the King? Can't help but notice you're still talking.
Yeah.
And then Sam and Frodo. Oh, sure. Yeah.
Okay. Can't help but notice you're still going.
And then we fade to white. And then, oh my God.
Yeah. Now, I can forgive The Lord of the Rings because it's such a gigantic story, right?
Yeah.
That we have followed these people that have gone onto very different trajectories.
Yeah.
That you need a wrap up for everybody, right? This was I just loved the setup. I loved the shot. I loved the artistic interpretation of, meanwhile, here's where these people are, right? But it's in train cars. That was awesome.
No.
And then the tiger was very visible at the end. And I was like, this would be a great way to stop. And then they kept going.
There's more movie.
And then there's more movie. And I go, ow.
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 So on a scale from 1 to 10, so this being the third Wes Anderson movie I've made you sit through, on a scale from 1 to 10, let's start at the first one.
Okay.
The Life Aquatic.
Oh, a 2.
Okay.
I did not like that.
Grand Budapest.
A 3.
This one.
A 4.
God damn it. Well, okay.
Okay, I'll give it a 5. But
as I said last week, if you didn't like this one, I'm not gonna make you do another one.
Again, those were the things I enjoyed. I think I would have liked it a lot better. And again, I shouldn't be doing this because it's like, it's just because I don't like it doesn't mean that it's bad. It just means that, like if they had never met up with their mom and Angelica Houston wasn't in it, that would have been cool too. It would have almost been like, we shouldn't be just so handcuffed to the past and trying to, try to find all these people that don't want to find us, right? Let's just let it go.
Yeah, okay.
Which is kind of what happens, but...
Yeah, okay, so I see what you're saying. So let's jump into the story. So the story is of these three brothers, the Whitman brothers. There is Owen Wilson's character, Francis, who is the oldest. There is Adrian Brody's character, Peter, the middle brother. And then there's Jason Schwartzman, Jack.
I really liked... because they were named after Peter Bogdanovich, Francis Ford Coppola, and Jack Nicholson.
Oh my God.
That helped me remember their names because...
I actually didn't know that.
Oh, it was in the trivia.
Yeah.
Peter Bogdanovich, of course, being the very famous director who did The Last Picture Show and many other stuff.
And if anyone else recently has seen him, you've seen him in It Chapter 2 as the faux director.
Yes.
Who has that great line of, the ending's terrible. And then he just goes away. And you're like, oh, there he goes.
Oh, there he goes. And he's still got his ascot on. And he still looks like Peter Bogdanovich,
Yeah. That's wild. I actually didn't know.
Well, Coppola's son wrote it, I think. Either it's his son or his grandson with Jason Schwartzman and Wes Anderson.
And Noah Baumbach. The guy who did Marriage Story, who is Wes's. Sorry, everyone. Wes's new writing partner, because it was him. It was Wes and Owen. Then it was Wes and Jason, and now it's Wes and Noah. But then Jason still helps.
It's Roman Coppola. And at first, when I saw that, I go, I'm gonna hate this because I don't like the Coppola offsprings. Usually, I think their movies are not as good. I think the exception would probably be Lost in Translation.
Oh, Sophia?
Sophia.
Well, then, okay, as I told you before, we will do her movie, The Virgin Suicides. Okay. I should have done it. I should have picked it in season 5 because it's a fucking downer.
Sounds like it.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Do you have it up there yet?
No, not yet. Okay. It's on my Criterion wish list.
Oh, okay.
I will get it. And thanks to Ashley, I actually really like that movie, even though it's so depressing.
Yeah.
Anyway, so these three brothers who haven't spoken in a year since their father's passing, on Francis's word, have all decided to meet in India to go on a quote-unquote spiritual journey. Honestly, it is a ploy by Francis. As I just recently watched a video, almost subconsciously to finally start talking again. Mm-hmm. He knew this would be the only way he could get them to come to India, is if he told them like, oh, we're going to go on a spiritual journey together. Mm-hmm. But no, that's not the case. That it is to start talking again, but also to track down their mom, who has also been missing for a year.
Yeah.
Because she was not at their father's funeral.
No, didn't want to.
No. And if I had any gripes about this movie, I think that was the one, is when she said, like, they're like, why didn't you come? Because I didn't want to.
Not a good enough reason, right? But for the build up the movie gives for it.
Yeah.
That wasn't a good enough reason. I agree.
Yeah,
Obviously.
I think that was the only letdown about the movie. Being a diehard Wes Anderson fan, I was just like, oh. I was kind of hoping she'd be like, oh, because, you know, some other form of Wes Anderson trope, like, oh, you like, I made a vow to your father. It's something like that. Something. But just, I don't want to go.
I don't want to. Which you could argue is also very Wes Anderson because it's...
True, because Wes is, you know, very dry humor.
Yeah.
Just, I don't want to go. And you're like, oh, okay then.
Yeah, okay, so... Peter's character, which I can't express to you how much I really enjoy Adrian Brody as an actor.
Adrian Brody is the fucking man.
I think he's great. His character, however, I think it's mostly with the relationship with his wife. It seemed a little Sideways-esque to me. I don't know if anyone's ever seen the movie Sideways with Thomas Hayden Church and Paul Giamatti.
Love both of those guys.
The premise of that movie is Thomas Hayden Church wants to go on a trip before he gets married so he can cheat on his wife. Or cheat on his fiance before he gets married. It's horrendous, right? It's so awful.
Yeah, like that's not how that works.
No. And so, but that's what he wants to do, right?
Okay.
And so then, you know, of course, they go on this whole wine tasting bullshit. Anyway, that movie sucks. But people love it, by the way.
I was about to say, you were building it up like to be like, oh, dude, it's the best movie I've ever seen.
No, it's awful. So it seemed a little Sideways-esque to me, to where it's like he's not respecting his wife.
He just kind of packed up and was like, oh, I'm going to India.
Right, and like doesn't want to be a father, even though, you know, which that part I was like, I get that he's nervous about it.
Right.
Or whatever. But it's like leaving right before
the
baby's born.
Yeah, like I think like the baby's due in like a few weeks and he's like, all right, bye.
Yeah, see ya.
So I attribute that to each brother is in their own various stage of grief. Mm-hmm. Even though it's been a year, they're still grieving in some way. And I think Peter is the one who's grieving the most.
Yes, because he, which is one of those, you know, running gags that I did enjoy, which is that Dad's? You know, everything he had and was using was his dad's.
Yeah, their father's prescription sunglasses, which were giving him a headache.
Right, because the prescription was still. Now, here's what was funny about that is knowing a few things about what actors like from, you know, watching countless, you know, documentaries and listening to commentary, stuff like that, is they like to do business with props. Mm-hmm. The constant
of him pulling the glasses
pulling it up and pulling them down and taking them off and putting them back on. He must have been in heaven having something to do constantly with his glasses.
Yeah.
It's almost like an actor's dream, you know, to just be constantly doing something. It made sense after a while because at first you're like, what is he doing? Like, put them on, take them off. But then once you realize that they're prescription glasses that are not his, you know?
Yeah.
It's almost like, I can't believe he's leaving them on for as long as he is.
Ashley immediately figured that out when he's like, I've got a headache. And then,
oh, right, yeah.
And then was like their dad, aren't these prescriptions? She was like, well, that's why he's getting a headache. And I was like,
oh. Right. Right. And then the razor, the car keys he still has, you know.
But of course, the biggest thing is the monogrammed matching luggage.
So I thought for the longest, well, before we figure out that that's their dad's, I thought it was all Jack's luggage. Like, I guess...
because
for some reason, I thought he was living his entire life in Paris and then just moved, and that's all of his luggage.
Right.
Is what I assumed at first.
I could get that, because especially since I told you to watch it the way it's supposed to be watched with the short film of Hotel C, and then it leads right into the movie.
Yeah.
I could get that.
It's not as seamless as you think. There's still credits in between.
Yeah, there's still credits in
between. Which I did not like. That was another thing I didn't like.
Well, see, I don't think that was Wes's fault, though.
Okay. Do you think it's just the Criterion and just being like, let's just put it there?
Just, like, let people know, like, hey. Because, I mean, it says, like, play with short film. And
yeah, I guess.
I mean, but that's not Criterion's fault either. Please sponsor us.
Yes, please. We love you, Criterion.
But anyway, then I could get that though, because he's already.
Then, of course, then we realize the dad's name is
shit.
something with a J.
I'm gonna be honest, I don't know.
And you go, oh, it was like John or something.
Yeah, but yeah, and so speaking of the luggage, that is the one thing that all the brothers hold on to the most, because as something I read and watched a couple of videos on, that's the thing that they attribute their father's love to.
Yeah.
Like if they think, okay, we'll divide this up and equally we have dad's love.
I do like that they're all numbered. And so they all know which one is theirs just by knowing what number they have.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and then of course, kind of emphasizing the point of the film of letting go of the past. You have to admit the great shot of them just finally throwing the luggage.
Letting go of the luggage
was, it's a great shot. Wes really utilizing slow-mo.
a few times.
Yeah, he uses it a lot in his films, but in this movie I think he uses it the most. During the funeral sequence and the physical letting go of everything. Mm-hmm. But so Jeremy,
yes,
let's talk about the relationship of the brothers.
Sure.
Because as mentioned, they haven't spoken in a year.
Right.
And like I said, I think each brother is grieving in their own way. Francis, of course, as we learned at the end of the movie, attempted suicide.
Yes, and coincides with Owen Wilson's own real-life suicidal attempts.
Yes. If anyone didn't know that, Owen went through a really hard time in the early 2000s. He was in and out of rehab, too, wasn't he?
Oh, yeah, I think so.
But it's okay. Our boy's fine now.
Yeah, he's fine.
He's in that Loki show, killing it up. But anyway, yes, so Francis has, in this year, attempted suicide. Peter is, of course, already being sort of a neglectful father. And Jack is a weird one because he's grieving in his own way, but I would say not as harshly as his two brothers.
Yeah, even with the short film attached to it, it's almost like, wait, did they break up? And why does he care so much? Because they didn't seem that close
to begin with.
Right.
And they were about to have sex.
Yeah. And then but which we need to get into that also, because that's a huge deal for Natalie Portman, but we'll get to that.
Yeah.
By the way, Natalie Portman's in this movie.
Well,
more than just the train car.
In the film, it's just a cameo, but it's more fleshed out in the short film. But anyway.
Right. And whatever. So, Jeremy, shut up. Stop interrupting yourself. And so that was his sort of grief or trauma or whatever that he's going through. It didn't make as much sense to me. It didn't hit home to me as much as the other guys. Because it's like it didn't seem like they were that close, and it didn't seem like they cared for each other as much as, of course, at the end you find out that he's starting to write this short story about his relationship with her, right?
Yeah, the actual short film,
right? Which now begs the question: did that actually happen? Because throughout the film, he keeps saying that everybody's fictionalized. Which, of course, it might be a joke because he's like, I don't want anyone to get upset.
I think it is because he's wearing the robe from the hotel.
Oh, that's true.
So I think it's just I think it's a way for him to be like, oh no, like that's no.
Yeah,
it didn't actually happen.
Yeah. Oh, and I'm just now realizing that we do get to see the outcome of the short story that they're reading, which is the flashback sequence.
Yes.
I'm just now connecting those dots because they kept saying. Oh, that's right. I remember how you yelled at the...
No, it's all fictionalized.
It's all... Right.
Yes, Jack has manifested his pain and grief in the short story of what happened the day of the funeral, because they missed their own father's funeral.
Whoops.
Arguing over whether or not to take their dad's... Porsche to the funeral. Because, as with the luggage... anything belonging to their fathers attributes to the amount of love that he has for them.
It seemed that they were really close to their dad, unless with their mom, of course. And I
Yeah.
just assumed it was Gene Hackman. So let's just
I was
assume it was Gene Hackman.
I was hoping we would see their dad.
Yeah.
And that would have been cool if it was Gene Hackman.
Yeah, I just assumed it was Gene Hackman.
But I think
Might as well.
I think with the Royal Tenenbaums, Gene Hackman being a distant father, I think that would have been
that
too
would have
close
been
to
too
that.
much.
Maybe I don't know. But at the same time, I think it helps the story that we don't see their dad.
And it would have helped the connection with Angelica Houston also from the Royal Tenenbaums. That's as much as I know about that movie, by the way.
It's good, but I'm not gonna make you watch it.
Thank you.
Anyway,
I feel like I'd hate that one the most.
but it's got Ben Stiller.
I don't care.
Benny Stills.
Don't care. Noah Baumbach, that's how you pronounce his name, by the way.
Ah, there we go. And Gwyneth Paltrow's on that one too.
I don't care. Noah Baumbach has Ben Stiller in other stuff, I think.
Yeah, the Meyerowitz stories.
Right, so it's fine.
With Adam Sandler.
If I really wanted to, I could, but I'm not going to.
Anyway, so the brothers have not spoken in a year, and there's this distrust that has grown between the three.
Yes, that was a bit that I also liked. Again, it was part of the very, quick dialogue between the three of them was also the, hey, I'm going to tell you something, but don't tell Francis. Hey, I'm going to tell you something,
But don't tell Jack.
but don't tell Peter, right?
Yeah, right.
Which I kind of thought that bit was going to continue through the movie, which would have been fun. I would have liked that, but I understand why it didn't.
Yeah, because our characters have to learn to trust each other again. And that's really manifested in Francis taking Peter and Jack's passports.
Right.
So they couldn't try to leave. Because Jack apparently had plans to, like, you know what? No, I'm not going on this spiritual journey with you guys.
Right.
And Francis was like, nah, you're staying.
And what was interesting is I kind of thought that was going to play a bigger part as well as the
taking of the passports.
no, the spiritual side of everything, because that's sort of short-lived. The going to these places of worship or going to these holy places in India, which I thought was cool because I
want to know how Wes got the okay to film there.
I mean, I bet it's not a big deal,
Yeah.
because those places are open. I mean, anybody can go in.
That's true.
If I'm not mistaken. I'm sure there are places they can't, but
Or I'm sure Wes had to contact ahead of time and say, hey, look, like, this is the story. We're going to be very respectful. Is this okay? And I'm sure they're like, yeah, sure, just be respectful. Like,
yeah, I assume.
yeah, I would assume too. And I think what finally starts to rebuild the trust between the brothers is the saving of the kids.
Yeah, well,
two of the three.
Two, as Meatloaf would say, 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
Oh my God.
Big fan of Meatloaf.
I mean, not the meal, the recording artist.
But also the meal. The meal's
Yes.
good too. I don't like a lot of ketchup, but
God.
anyway,
Yes.
yeah.
Because they get kicked off the train, which the train is called the Darjeeling Limited. That's an actual train that runs in India. I mean, maybe not now, but especially during the time.
I read that they had filmed on the actual
train. That would make sense.
which would be very complicated. So I'm pretty impressed that they got some of those shots in, because
I'm sure they had to use sets for some parts, but
with flyaways and stuff like that. Yeah.
But yeah. So they get kicked off the train, which they're warned about very early on.
I love that actor, by the way.
He's also in Grand Budapest, and he's in Life Aquatic.
Oh, I do remember in Life Aquatic.
He's the cameraman in Life Aquatic.
I was introduced to this guy in Spike Lee's Inside Man.
Okay.
And because Haley was asking about his head garment.
Oh, okay.
And I said, well, he's Sikh, so he has to. It's part of his religion. He has to wear it. I learned that from Inside Man, because that's a big deal in the movie. Is they make him take it off, and he's like, I can't take it off. He's Sikh. It's part of my religion. Blah blah blah, all that stuff. So anyway, love that actor. Love the actress who was his girlfriend.
Who Jason Schwartzman. I don't think they actually had sex, but he for sure he did some things with his hands. Some not safe for work things.
Yeah, and
while she was at work.
At work, yeah. I was introduced to her because, again, I didn't watch any of this bullshit when it came out. Was the night of which is a great HBO miniseries.
Oh, okay. I'm going to tell you where I first saw her, but I don't want to because you're going to be mad at me, and you're already mad at me.
I'm not mad at you.
It was in Doctor Who.
Oh, well. Okay.
But anyway.
British.
Oh, yeah. But anyway, so they are warned if they cause too much of a disturbance, they will be removed. And they are, because...
Didn't get kicked off for the snake.
Yeah, they got kicked off for fighting. Yeah, they let a dangerous cobra accidentally loose on the train.
Didn't know you could buy one of those, but you can.
Well, and I just love how he's like, the snake is gone.
There's a hole in it.
What do you mean? And they're like... yeah, so they accidentally let this snake out because Peter, for some fucking reason, buys it at the market.
Now, I was going to ask you about that, because I was like, maybe that... Again, I just assumed it was going to be important later. And the only way it was important was to get them on thin ice.
With the
security. But, for me, I thought, he's buying it for a reason. He asked if it was super poisonous. And when the guy said yes, he bought it.
I think it's probably one of those reckless things. Like, he's still grieving, so I'm just going to be reckless.
Yeah.
It's
like when I drink and go to Amazon. It's just like, you know what?
No,
whatever.
Reckless is you taking melatonin and continuing to drink.
Oh my god,
that's being reckless.
Okay, I don't do that as much anymore. So let's relax.
Anyway, yeah, but they're kicked off for fighting, which is one of my favorite fight scenes in any West movie, because I just love how leading up to it, Francis keeps going like, yeah, he agrees with me, pointing to Jack, and Jack's like, don't include me, like just trying to shave. Just trying to be like, you two are fighting. I'm not involved in this. Leave me alone. And I just love that he keeps like, don't include me.
Don't.
And it finally erupts when Peter takes the belt, that's their dad's, and throws it at Francis. Pretty good hit, like right on the nose. And I just love Jack's whole...
Not a small target.
Like, I love you, but I'm going to mace you in the face now. And maces them both. Yeah, that's what gets them thrown off the train. And... They are trying to make their way to the nearest town so they can kind of go their separate ways, because this clearly is not working.
Mm-hmm.
And they witness these three kids trying to cross a bridge, and the bridge collapses and they fall into a river.
It was sort of like a pulley system, like a raft. It was cool. It was
cool.
It was almost like the kids made it themselves.
But unfortunately, that rope didn't last.
No.
And they are only able to save two of the three little boys.
And the actor who plays their father, I know as well. He's been in a bunch of stuff, and I'm a huge fan of his.
Yeah.
If I can remember his name.
Yeah.
Which would be great.
For our listener out there, he was in The Life of Pi. He was in the Jurassic World. The first one. He wasn't, unfortunately, in the second one.
I believe he was also in Slumdog, but
he's been in a ton of stuff.
I could be wrong about that Slumdog thing, but I think he probably was. Everybody was in Slumdog.
Yeah, Dev Patel was in Slumdog.
Yeah, every Indian actor working in Hollywood was in Slumdog Millionaire.
But yes, so they have the two kids who they did save, bring them back to their village and to return the boy to his father. And that's what starts to sow the seeds of trust again in the brothers, because they are invited to the funeral, and it's kind of a way to make up for the fact we didn't go to our own father's funeral, but we will be here for this father at his son's funeral. Almost kind of, the flip of their situation. And it's a very beautiful moment, No,
the funeral sequence I liked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what finally causes Francis to let his guard down and show the brothers what's underneath his bandages, because he just said it was an accident. Like, oh yeah, I had an accident with my motorcycle. But then when they kind of finally see it, because it's not outright said that it was a suicide attempt, but
right.
Once they see it, they're like, "Oh, you intentionally crashed your motorcycle."
Right. Yeah.
And it's
great prosthetics.
Yeah, really good. And then No, I'm sorry. I skipped a whole part. When they finally track down their mom.
Oh, right.
Who, which I didn't believe. I thought it was, I literally I paused the movie and I looked at Ashley. I was like, that sounds like a bunch of bullshit. When they're like, oh, she's a nun. I was like, that sounds like bullshit.
Yeah.
And no, she's an actual nun.
A nun.
And they have this real nice heart-to-heart with their mom. And then that's when we get our lame excuse of like, why weren't you at Dad's funeral?
Right.
I didn't want to go.
And then she disappears again.
Yes. This time, though, not to be malicious, but because apparently she just does this. According to the other sisters at her convent.
Right.
She'll just go off. But of course, as these three brothers who have had to live with this, they were probably like, well, oh well. But it's a good moment for them to kind of get a little bit of closure. Mm-hmm. Not enough, because, when she says, can't we just let the past go? Like, the past is done. Can't we just let it go? And Frances is like, not for us, it's not.
And this is where we get a little bit of character development for Frances, because she does what he's been doing the whole time when ordering food.
Yeah.
Which is, I'm going to have this, you get this, and they'll have this, and we're good, right? And that's exactly what, like, anybody who wants scrambled eggs, raise your hand, He's emulating his mom when he's doing that. Of course, and I guess that could be a way for me to be like, I guess we had to go see the mom, but for me, it was just like he's the older brother.
Well, and, it's kind of personified that I guess their mother wasn't very present, or both parents, because Frances says at the beginning of the movie, did I raise us? Like, good? Like, kind of? And, I guess it's implied that, like, they were all they had.
Right.
And that's why I think their dad's funeral was so significant for them, and why holding on to his material possessions is such a big deal. Mm-hmm. Because, maybe. I don't know that personally, because both my parents are still alive.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I think why I wanted to do this now is also to touch on that this is a very human story.
You think so?
In my opinion, because, like, unlike some of the other West films we've talked about, where you have this big ensemble cast, you really just have these three actors. I guess they're interacting with other actors, but almost every single scene, it's them.
I mean, there is less Wes Anderson-esque stuff in this, which I guess is why I hated it the least.
And I think that's another reason why, and I was slightly right. I thought this one for sure, though, you'd be like, dude, I loved it. No,
I didn't love it. But it may be something I might watch again in the future. I don't know. Definitely not the other one. But let's go to the short film.
Okay. So because Hotel C.
Hotel C.
I'll put it on the screen right now. And now it's gone.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so the short film.
I missed it, actually.
Oh, no. Okay, here it is again. And now it's gone.
Okay, good. That was enough. So, I was reading about Natalie Portman agreeing to do a nude scene for this short film.
And we should pause. Because, yes, she is nude, but we don't see any of the boobs.
Oh, my God.
We can't afford a strike, Jeremy.
Yeah, I know. So, yeah.
But we do see that ass.
Oh, my God. So, yes. She does have, a nude. Because she had said she was never going to do that, right?
Yeah.
I thought it was so strange that she agreed to do it for this. It's almost like, I wonder why. I wonder why she had agreed to do it for this, because it's not like it was going to be seen by the masses. Maybe that might be a reason why. But, she had just come off of doing V for Vendetta because her hair was really short.
And I think this is right before she did Mr. Megorium's Wonder Emporium.
Okay.
Because because her hair is shortened.
Yeah. And so, like, I don't know. Maybe she was willing to take more risks after V for Vendetta.
Maybe.
Getting out of her comfort zone a little bit on that one. But I don't know. It seems so... Because then later she said she regretted it. And it's like, you know...
She regretted doing the nude scene for...
Yeah.
Really?
Well, because she said she was never going to do it. You know?
Maybe it was because... Maybe in the moment, she was like, you know what, this makes sense for the story.
Maybe.
I don't know.
But then again, it's like, I don't know enough about her to justify this, right? It's a short film.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, and if Natalie's raps are any case, I don't think we want to get to know her, you know?
That's a good point.
We might get thrown out of a window.
That's right.
Shout out to the Lonely Island.
So I guess that would be, you know, my main criticism with the short film is that, you know, it kind of pushed Natalie Portman out of her comfort zone a little too much. Which is so strange to me that, you know, and again, it's her decision.
That's true.
So it's not like, it's not, I guess I shouldn't say it's a criticism, but it's just so strange to me that she was like, yeah, sure. And then later go, like, I shouldn't have done that. You know?
Maybe because, I don't know. I don't want to say maybe because later on she was like, I should have done a nude scene for this movie, but I can't because I did it for that one.
Yeah, because it's like if you only get, if her rationale is you only get one, I wouldn't have wasted it on that one.
Yeah.
I guess.
Maybe.
Not that was her rationale, but I'm just saying if it was.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, I do not like Jason Schwartzman's character. I like Jason Schwartzman. I don't like his character in this one at all.
Well, yes, because... So I'm glad you wanted to talk about the short film, because the short film is, I believe, 2 weeks before the events of the film.
Right.
So Jack is kind of on his big asshole kick. Because by the end of... would you at least say, though, by the end of the film, you like Jack? Kind of, sort of.
Kind of, I guess. But not really. I mean, okay. I still don't like him. Because, you know, I still attribute, you know, his actions in the past to still be a reflection of who he is. It's not like, you know, which is something I hate very much, is the 180 turnaround.
Jeremy does not like 180s.
I don't like 180 turnarounds, right? In personality changes in films just because of just one thing. So the thing that icked me out the most was when he was like, I want that waitress, or I want that, whatever he called her. And I was like, ugh. That was...
Pause and then go shower.
That was gross. I did not like the way he said it. I didn't like... You know, I knew exactly what he meant by it, and I didn't like it.
Yeah.
And it's gross. He was gross. He's a gross guy.
Gross.
Gross.
Yeah, and the short film really personifies that, because originally, and I'm sure you read it, originally the short film was meant to be a one-off. It was meant to be its own thing, its own separate movie, or separate story. But while Wes was writing it, he was like, you know, this is a lot like a character I have for this movie. And decided, okay, they need to be combined. And I agree.
Makes sense.
Jack is very, especially in the short film, I would say this is the lowest of his low.
Yeah.
He is pretty much squatters riding this very nice hotel in France. Mm-hmm. It doesn't seem I don't know. It just seems like they're just kind of letting him stay there, you know?
I was trying to think of what movie he was watching, too. I think it was like the 400 Blows or something. He was watching a French film.
Yeah. And...
it might have been a Truffaut, or I don't know what it was.
Yeah, but, you know, this is where we can also see his relationship with Natalie Portman. It's a very volatile relationship.
Yeah, it's not like a close...
Yeah.
You know, emotionally close relationship.
It's very obvious that they love to hate to be... They love hating being with each other. Because he has a great line, because it comes up in the movie, so if you never saw the short film, you'll just hear it in the movie, of... oh, no, it's what Natalie Portman says. I know if we fuck, I'm going to hate myself in the morning.
Yeah.
And it's only through the journey of the movie where he finally realizes, like, okay, I need to let her go. I can't keep doing this to myself. Because one of my favorite funny parts is when he's like, how is this for, you know, the ending of a new short story I'm writing? And he says, you know, he will not be going to wherever she wanted him to meet him.
It was Italy or something.
Yeah, and I love, Peter goes, I love how mean you are in that. And he's like, the characters are. Thanks, because he's finally admitting, like, yes, my short stories are
autobiographical.
Real. Yeah. And that was him finally saying, like, no, we're done.
Yeah.
But yeah, the short film, we need to see Jack. Like I said, I think in the lowest of his low. Mm-hmm. Yes, he's still gross throughout the rest of the movie, but we do finally, we get those little nuggets of character growth.
Yeah.
Towards the end.
Yeah.
Where he's not gonna. When they get on their new train, he's not going to sleep with... Well, I mean, he might have slept with that waitress.
Or whatever he called her, yeah.
He's not going to be gross about it. Or at least in front of his brothers.
Let's hope not.
Let's hope not.
Let's hope not. Let's hope he's not gross anymore. Yeah, I didn't care for that.
I would say in terms also, this is one of Wes's most, in my opinion, sexual movies. Because the only time I'd ever seen someone lick their fingers in the middle of a sex scene
pretty graphic.
Is in 8 Mile when Brittany Snow does that. When she and Eminem are about to have sex.
Murphy, by the way.
Oh, Brittany Murphy. I'm so sorry. I was confusing. No, there is Brittany Snow.
There is a Brittany Snow.
But it was Brittany Murphy. R.I.P. to Brittany Murphy.
R.I.P. to Brittany Murphy. I've been watching a lot of King of the Hill. R.I.P. to Brittany Murphy.
But yeah, I was not expecting that. Because
I was like, oh my god.
Because, like, yes, Wes has made some rated R films in the past, but they haven't been that overtly sexual. And I say that now remembering the full-on blowjob scene in Grand Budapest Hotel.
Yeah.
But I guess maybe it's because it's styled a certain way, but actually seeing Jason Schwartzman go...
Yeah, it seemed very... intimate, right? Or it's like I'm not supposed to be watching this.
Should I
go?
Should I turn this off now?
Yeah, it's like ugh,
But yeah, and I think it's because Wes is. I like that you used intimate, because since we are in such a closed space, a majority of the movie, everything has to be very.
It's almost like you can't leave.
Yeah.
We're there, and this is the amount of space you got.
Yeah, but I mean, in terms of Wes's filmography, I mean, he followed The Life Aquatic with this movie, so I felt like he was very much on a sort of a depression kick a little bit.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe. Who knows?
Who knows?
I don't know.
Who knows the mind of Wes Anderson? The people, his professors at UT. He graduated from the University of Texas.
I knew that.
Yeah, he's an Austinite. That's what's up.
Yeah, there are much better filmmakers from Austin, like Richard Linklater, for one.
We for sure will do a Linklater film.
Actually, we can do one this season. We can do Waking Life. That one's really strange and really avant-garde.
Oh, yeah?
It's sort of like Slacker, but everything's rotoscoped. Ooh. But it was before they kind of honed it in for A Scanner Darkly. And so
he did that too.
It's sort of like we're testing out rotoscoping, this whole movie, and it's so strange, and I love it. Anyway, that might be a future episode. God, I love Richard Linklater.
Yeah. Shout out to Richard Linklater.
Yeah.
Shout out to every movie he ever makes in Austin.
Dude, every movie he ever makes in general. This is a tangent, of course, because you mentioned UT, you mentioned Austin, and then Linklater. That one of the greatest trilogies I've ever seen in my entire life is the Before trilogy.
I know, I'm gonna get that. You keep rubbing it in my face that you've got that on Criterion.
And I had watched it before I had bought it. I had seen it, and I watched the first two in one night, and the third one the next day.
That was before midnight. Right?
Yeah, before midnight I watched the next day. At that time I'd had a jailbroken Fire Stick, so I was like getting illegal movies on there.
Don't illegally download movies.
Sure, don't do that. But in this case it was dope because I could watch those movies back to back to back. And it was one of the greatest things I'd ever seen. It's a beautiful story.
Linklater's the best.
Linklater is the best. Linklater has one of the coolest filmographies because they're so different. Every movie is so different.
We
from the
might
other.
have to do an old style season 1 reservations and do a whole
And
episode.
just do a Lake Later episode.
Oh, would you be down?
I don't know. Maybe I would. Feel,
I think we would
feel like it would be a disservice to those films to not give them their each episode. But
We may have to dedicate one whole season then, man.
maybe.
Or a sub season, a mini season.
Okay.
And pull an American Horror Story, do 2 seasons in a year.
Okay.
We pretty much do two seasons in a year.
We pretty much do that anyway.
Anyway, so Jeremy.
Yes, sir.
Are you ready to wrap up?
Duh. Yes, I'm right.
Okay. Well, I will say I am glad you hated this one the least.
The least.
Because I was suspecting, like, okay, this one, because even Asher was like, I think this is the one he'll like.
If there is, this is the one.
Yeah.
And it's the closest one you've got.
Well, and I was really hoping that if this wasn't do it, that because you had told me you had started watching Fantastic Mr. Fox, but then you said you turned it off in the middle.
Yeah, I didn't make it through that either. I respect.
Well, if
the stop, I love stop motion, but to me, it's just like I don't know. Maybe I just don't like Raoul Dahl that much.
If I'm being honest, I honestly think it'll be Bottle Rocket. I think Bottle Rocket's the one you like because that's the least Wes movie ever.
Yeah,
because it's him testing everything. It's him figuring out how do I want to make movies, and it's not a incoherent story.
Well, my buddy was like, I really want to see Bottle Rocket, and I go, it's Wes Anderson, right? And he goes, forget it. So it's one of those where it's like, yeah, I do want to see Bottle Rocket, and I did want to see Bottle Rocket, but then I'm like, I don't know, I don't like any of these other ones. I get what you're saying, though. Honestly,
I think that's the one. I truly do, but like I said at the top of the show, I'm not going to make you sit through another Wes Anderson movie.
Yay!
I will let you watch that one on your own volition.
Now, again, there are things I liked about this one.
I know. Yeah, so let me go back to that point. So I do like that this one had more you appreciated about it.
Yes.
Than the past two.
Yes.
Couldn't get you, but it's all right.
No.
Because I know there's, as I've said.
And of course, I respect all filmmakers. There are filmmakers out there that I don't like. Obviously, I believe Wes Anderson, he's not making me mad on purpose. It's just, I just don't jive with these films, which is fine. I, again, respect the hell out of his ability to create a style all his own. That's what's up. I really respect anyone patient enough to do stop motion.
Yeah.
And be able to make it aesthetically pleasing and be meticulous enough to have it be sort of seamless. And I've seen clips of Isle of Dogs with the guy doing the sushi.
Oh, the sushi sequence is...
it was so rad.
It's amazing.
That I liked a lot. And so, again, respect. I don't like it. It's not for me.
But in terms of the story, thory did you like this?
Yeah,
the story of this of letting go of the past.
Yeah, the story wasn't. The story wasn't as ridiculous
as like Grand Budapest was.
Yeah, or Life Aquatic.
Yeah,
ridiculous. And this even had Bill Murray. So.
Yeah, I forgot that Bill. I was like, oh hey, Bill Murray. Oh, there he goes. Okay, all right.
Okay.
But it's because Bill and Wes are so close.
They're buddies.
I'm pretty sure Wes could be like, hey, I need you to play a dead body, and Bill would probably be like, all right, let's do it.
All right, let's go.
Let's go.
Tight.
I mean, but of course, I think Bill is the focus of his new film, The French Dispatch, which I cannot wait for. But anyway, all right, man. Well, I'm glad you like this one a little bit more. I will now relinquish my cap of I will probably never get you to like a Wes Anderson movie ever again.
Probably
not. So, buddy.
Yes.
What are we talking about next week?
So, I was thinking about it, and I'm still going to put off Synecdoche, so we're not going to do Synecdoche.
Okay.
But we're still going to put that off because I just feel like I'm not ready. So...
Well, I mean... No, I'll close the show with that.
Out of all of these strange films we do, this one's going to be the coolest, I think.
Okay.
I think this one you're going to be like, that movie was just cool.
Okay. We're doing Cool World?
No. Could you imagine if that was the setup to me just saying, we're doing Cool World? And you're going to be like, No, but that's hard. But this is, I think this one's going to be like, that was rad. This one is sort of, it's weird, but the story is so weird and it doesn't make any sense, and I love it. We are going to do Roger Avery's adaptation of the novel by Bret Easton Ellis.
Our boy Bret Easton Ellis?
We're doing Rules of Attraction next week. This is one of my favorite movies. I am obsessed with it.
Didn't we talk about that in
yes,
the American Psycho episode?
Yes, because Patrick makes an appearance via mention, because Sean, his brother, is the main character.
So I'm not gonna lie, I have, ever since I got ready for the American Psycho episode, I read about the movie, and it interested me.
It's wild
because it's not. It's completely like stark different from American Psycho.
Yeah.
Where my American Psycho, as shout out to our American Psycho episode, is like this melding of horror and comedy and satire.
Yeah.
This is completely different.
I mean, there is satire, there is comedy, but it's more of, it's more lighthearted, I guess you could say, which is weird.
Lighthearted compared to a book about him.
Because it's weird to say more lighthearted, because once you watch the movie, you're gonna be like, no, it wasn't.
What? But I'm not going to see anyone get hacked up with a chrome-plated axe.
No, but you are gonna. I think you're gonna love the way the movie's put together. It's awesome.
I mean,
I've seen it so many times.
And Bret Easton Ellis, he wrote the script for the movie, didn't he?
Yeah, he helped write this one with Roger Avery.
Nice.
And Roger Avery did Killing Zoe, if anyone has seen that, with Eric Stoltz.
A shout out!
Who is also in Rules of Attraction. So
shout out to Mask, Eric Stoltz.
Yeah, shout out to Mask. Hey, shout out to half of filming Back to the Future.
Back to the Future? Filming 75% and then being like, hey, buddy, we
gotta let you go.
Your comedic timing is not where we need it. Plus, Michael J. Fox is going to be down.
Who's the woman? Hold on, because there's also... Sorry. I'm just trying to get people stoked. So, of course, James Van Der Beek makes his typecasting break. He is no longer Dawson.
Dawson? He should have drowned that kid in the lake.
Yeah, he should have. So he's no longer Dawson in this movie. He is this, drug-taking, drinking, sex-having, sort of a weird kid in this weird college that doesn't make sense. But it's Shannon Sossamon. I don't know. She was in 40 Days and 40 Nights. Also in Risk Cutters. Anyway, she's great.
Okay.
Big fan. Also, Jessica Biel breaks her typecasting because she was in Seventh Heaven, and then she was in this movie.
Seventh Heaven.
Seventh Heaven.
I had a joke queued up for that, but I was like, no.
No. You could save it, because next week we're doing Rules of Attraction.
Nice. Okay, I'm jazzed, man. I love Bret Easton Ellis adaptations, as mentioned in the American Psycho episode.
And this is the closest one.
I for sure want to read more of his books. Awesome, man. So before we close out, I meant to mention at the beginning of the episode, but I was like, we'll wait.
Whoops.
So the 100th episode is coming.
Yes.
That one may take some time. Just gonna go ahead and forewarn, because we want to make sure that it's a really special episode, because it's neither of our picks. So season 6 will be a little long, but we just want to let you know it's coming. So if when it's supposed to come out, it doesn't come out, we'll let you guys know. But
yeah,
we're gearing up for that. It's going to be a fun one.
Yeah, I agree. I'm still waiting for my sweater to come in.
As am I. It says it shipped like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
But anyway. All right, guys. Well, we hope you enjoyed the Darjeeling Unlimited, and we'll see you next week for Rules of Attraction.